If you are looking for signs of the end, you'll find that virtually every news bulletin seems to include at least one war, famine, or earthquake. And Jesus lists these three signs, but says they are merely the beginning of birth pains. And he even adds, "See to it that you are not alarmed." Instead of getting ready for an imminent end when these signs appear, Jesus tells his disciples that such things must happen, but the end is still to come. There's only one sign in Matthew 24 that is unquestionably a sign of the end, because it's immediately followed by the words, "and then the end will come." This sign is that the gospel of the kingdom will be preached in the whole world as a testimony to all nations. Now there's a news headline we haven't seen yet, but many people are working hard towards that aim, and it explains why Christians are left on earth after they're saved. We're supposed to share our discovery with others. This makes me very uneasy about the pre-tribulation rapture, because it leaves the earth without any Christian witness. I'm also uneasy about the rapture because it gives Christians a get out of suffering free card. By contrast, Jesus said that his disciples must take up their cross, and that one who stands firm to the end will be saved, which suggests that faithful will not be rescued before the end. When I was a teenager, the text that encapsulated the rapture for me and for many others was the repeated phrase, "One will be taken and the other left." Perhaps it was so memorable because of the accompanying words in the King James Version, which inevitably provoked a snigger from the youth group. There will be 2 men in one bed and 2 women will be grinding together. At that time, I didn't realise that in Greek literature, the passive verb taken can mean captured. And that makes a lot of sense in the context, because Jesus is urging the Judean believers to flee to the hills when they're surrounded by armies. Otherwise, they'll be taken, i.e. by the soldiers. In Revelation, heaven is full of people who have come out of the tribulation from the 4 horsemen, but they have done so by being killed. John doesn't mention anyone who is rescued from harm by rapture. And when Paul says that believers will meet the Lord in the air, he describes them as those who are left until the coming of the Lord. So they haven't been saved from suffering before his coming. We have to recognize that we can't know in advance which aspects of prophecies about the end will turn out to be literal or symbolic. Will Jerusalem be surrounded by literal armies or metaphorical ones? Will Jesus arrive on a literal horse, or is this symbolic? We can make guesses about things like this, but we should realize that we are likely to get things wrong. In that case, what's the purpose of prophecy? Well, Jesus explained the purpose to his disciples just before his death. He said, "I have told you now, before it happens, so that when it does happen, you will believe." Predictions in prophecy are mainly for those who will experience the predicted events. If we're still here when the end comes, all the pieces will fall into place and the meaning will become obvious. But it's likely to be different from what we imagined. And then, even though the world will be falling apart around us, we'll recognize the details were already in God's word. So, because of those prophecies, we will be strengthened for the coming trouble, knowing that the end is ultimately in God's hands. God bless.